Good evening, I'm Taylor Thomas with a CTV News update. They came from all across the region to pay their final respects to a person who led a life of service. Sheriff Melvin High was just weeks away from retiring when he passed away. Byron Scott has our story.
They gathered at Showplace Arena this morning to pay the final respects to longtime Prince George's County Sheriff Melvin High, who died earlier this month. He was honored by the presence of colleagues, family, friends, along with the governor of Maryland.
So it's bittersweet. We're here to celebrate his life.
Among those in attendance today, former Prince George's Fire Chief Mark Bashore, who flew in this morning from Florida.
He didn't frankly care whether you knew what his business was. He just went about the business of getting it done. And that's what I liked about him, was his quiet effectiveness, which was important for us in Prince George's County.
High had been in law enforcement for more than 50 years. The list is long. He was Assistant Chief of D.C. Police, Chief of Norfolk, Virginia Police, Chief of Prince George's County Police, and then Sheriff.
Under him, I've basically promoted all the way up to Assistant Sheriff, in which he appointed me in. So he saw something in me and was able to give me guidance, not only professionally, but personally.
Died at the hospital where I'm chaplain, and they asked me would I represent the Washington Hospital Center, MedStar Washington Hospital Center, to be here and for a ministry of presence.
We were actually his neighbors.
Tony Wutak has known High for 15 years.
But just as neighbors, was a really good guy, was always thoughtful and kind and polite with us. We have 2 daughters, and he would always ask of our daughters when we saw him, and it was just a shock.
And, you know, he was getting ready to retire to spend time with his grandbabies. Like, that's what he was going to do, spend time with his grandbabies. And that just goes to show you that you can never take anything for granted. Every moment is precious.
Byron Scott, CTV News.
It's day 2 of an administrative hearing for the Prince George's School Board chair. Several witnesses have testified against Juanita Miller during a virtual hearing over the past 2 days, including former school board member Rahila Ahmed. Miller, who was appointed in 2021 by County Executive Angela Also Brooks, faces allegations of misconduct in office, willful neglect of duty, and incompetence. The allegations were brought against her by 6 former and current school board members. The hearing will continue throughout the week. A second portion of the hearing will resume December 19th through the 21st. One woman faces arson charges following an apartment building fire in Landover Hills last night. Fire crews were called to the 4,000 block of Warner Avenue just before midnight. When firefighters arrived, they found flames coming from the first and second floors of the complex. Authorities say some residents were rescued from their balconies. 2 people were taken to the hospital. The fire caused an estimated $100,000 in damage. Officials say an unidentified woman was arrested and faces arson, malicious burning, and reckless endangerment charges. The state's coronavirus numbers continue to soar. The Maryland Health Department reports 1,078 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. The agency also reports 23 new COVID deaths. 505 residents are currently hospitalized with the virus. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Back in a moment.
We know what it's like to go to war, to bravely step forward and sacrifice for what you believe is right. We see those who are redefining what it means to serve, to be a patriot, a hero, and to save lives. From our nation's injured veterans to the faces of courage across America today, we see you, we support you, we salute you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Good evening and welcome back. Deputies from Frederick County fatally shot a man who allegedly stabbed his parents earlier this morning. This happened at a home in the 5800 block of Haller Place just after 2 a.m. Officials say the suspect's sister called 911 to report the stabbings. When authorities arrived, they found the mother and father suffering from stab wounds. The father died following the attack. The suspect was shot and killed by police. A student at Frederick Douglass High School was arrested after school security found a gun in his possession. The 16-year-old student was reportedly showing off the gun on a school bus yesterday morning, and another student reported the incident. The teen was charged as an adult with several weapon offenses. Maryland's first independent investigation division's probe into police-involved fatalities is complete. The IID was created last year to look into all police-involved fatalities in the state. Now, in the past, it was done by police in other jurisdictions. Today, Maryland Attorney General Brian Frost's office released the report that looked at 22 cases between October 1st of 2021 and September 30th of 2022. The probe contains detailed information on the nature of the incidents and analysis of possible legal issues. The report will be submitted to the state's attorney or the jurisdiction that would have the authority to decide if criminal charges should be filed. If you're taking advantage of all of the holiday online deals, you need to listen up. The Prince George's County Police Department is sending out a warning to residents ordering packages to their home. PGPD says there is a safe and reliable way to make sure you get what you ordered.
So my advice would be to not give the thieves the opportunity. So you can have your packages delivered to a drop box such as Amazon Locker. You can have them delivered to your job or ask a neighbor that you trust to retrieve it for you. And even installing a doorbell camera can act as a great deterrence. Or if unfortunately you are a victim, at least can catch some footage of the person taking your package.
Thousands of people ordered DNA kits over the holidays to discover their ancestral roots. But what do you do when the results come back and you find out you have a large percentage of indigenous DNA? Can you claim your tribal heritage? Not so fast, says many indigenous leaders. Ancestry kits can't determine Native American identity. They say community relationships, traditions, and shared experiences are more important aspects of identity.
First of all, you can't take that test and simply say, I have some Indian blood. What tribe am I? Well, there's about 720 tribes in the United States. Pick one. Also, you may say, well, grandmother told me we're a certain tribe. And but for membership, you have to prove it to the tribe in order to be a member. It's a good way to find out that you have DNA inside of you, but it will not help prove that you are a member of a tribe. And if the tribe doesn't recognize you, you are not them.
Sovereign tribal nations determine their requirements for membership. Genetic ancestry tests are rarely involved. Native American Heritage Month, by the way, runs throughout the month of November. Well, winter is quickly approaching, and Prince George's County leaders want to make sure residents are prepared. Tomorrow, the county is hosting a virtual snow summit from 6 to 7 p.m.
When they tune in, they're going to hear from the Department of Public Works and Transportation. They're going to hear from the Department of the Environment. The Department of the Environment is going to tell them about trash collection procedures that happen during inclement weather. They're going to hear from Fire EMS. That's going to tell them about generators and how they should use precautions with heaters. They're going to hear from the Health Department. That's going to tell them about dialysis preparations. We have a full platform of government agencies and partners that are going to provide a plethora of information that will be extremely useful during the winter season.
You can follow the Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation on social media at PG County DPWT. More news and sports are after the break. Stay with us.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome back to the program. Police are investigating a deadly pedestrian accident in Fort Washington. It happened last night around 8:30 on Indian Head Highway at Livingston Road. Investigators say 27-year-old Caitlin Rodriguez of Fort Washington was struck and killed when she stopped and exited her vehicle in order to retrieve something on the roadway. Rodriguez was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the striking vehicle did remain on the scene. Anyone with information on this incident is asked to contact police. WSSC Water named D.C. water official Keisha Powell as the new general manager. Powell was approved unanimously by agency commissioners. She has 24 years of public and private sector water utility experience servicing clients in the United States and England. Powell will replace general manager Carla Reed, whose contract was not renewed this summer. Today is Giving Tuesday, a time when people are encouraged to be generous givers. But before you pull out your checkbook, state officials want to warn Marylanders about phony charitable organizations. That's why authorities say do your research on organizations before you give money. Also, pay close attention to names and logos of the groups that you want to donate to. Lastly, residents can look up registered charitable organizations in Maryland by visiting the website right there on your screen. The Washington Wizards went up against the Minnesota Timberwolves last night and won the game in a high-scoring affair, 142-127, avoiding 4 straight losses. Kristaps Porzingis had a career high, of 41 points, spoke after the game about the potential of playing alongside Bradley Beal and Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have the firepower and offensively, I think it's some nights we get into this little bit of like back and forth with the other team where we can actually kind of lock in defensively and just keep playing our game freely offensively, and I think that's when we're really gonna be like a high level team, and I believe we can get there. We need more experience, we need more minutes together, we need everybody to get more experience, and yeah, no, I think we're on our way there. You know, this is our first season playing together, and we're 20 games into the season. I feel like the chemistry, thanks to those two guys, Beal and Kuz, I think they're leading that our chemistry as a group. We are where we are, and I think we're only getting started.
The Wizards match up against the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow night. Being the general manager of a professional sports team is no small feat, but Amber Nichols achieved her position in under 5 years. Recently, we featured several interview segments with Nichols, who serves as the GM of the Capital City Go-Go. In this final segment, she talks about the people who inspire her and how she wants to inspire other women in the world of sports.
Absolutely. When I was coming up, there were women that, I would look up to. There are current, women in my village, my mentors that I look up to. Some Morgan Cato, Allison Feaster, Stacey Lovelace, just some Tori Miller. Obviously, there are just a bunch of women that are in my circle that I definitely look up to, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity to be able to be that for a young woman that wants to aspire to be a G League GM, be in the NBA. I think it's definitely possible, and I think myself and others have showed that, and so we definitely want to increase this pipeline and make sure that there's always young women like us that are ready to go, that are ready for the opportunity to get here.
The Capital City Go-Go take the court against the Maine Celtics tomorrow at 7 o'clock. All right, let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and a low around 43 degrees. Wednesday, rainy with a low around 31. Thursday and Friday, sunny with daytime temps in the mid to upper 40s and evening lows around 38 degrees. And that's a wrap up of our CTV News Update. I'm Taylor Thomas. Good night.